static force analysis of mechanisms. The first example is about a slider crank mechanism in which force P is applied on the slider, and to keep this mechanism in equilibrium position we have to apply a external torque, that is the holding torque. So we have to find out what is the holding torque and what are the reactions in each linkage. Now we have discussed last class, the first step what you have to do is to draw the free body diagram of each linkage. So when it comes to the free body diagram of the piston, we have seen that three forces are acting. So we can use the theorem of three forces to find out the directions, the magnitudes of the reactions F14 and F34. So this is this. We have completed this analysis. Now coming to linkage 2, it is a two force member. So according to the law of equilibrium, the forces are to be the equal, opposite and collinear in action. So your direction of this will be like this. Now last class we have started about drawing the free body diagram of linkage 2. So drawing the free body diagram of linkage 2, see, let me even remove this torque, holding torque. Now if you, for the linkage 2, what are the things we know is there is a force, the reaction from the linkage 2 is acting. So this is a force applied by 3 on 2. So that will be in this direction because you have this. So the reaction will be in the opposite direction. So that is what is shown in here. Now how to find out the reaction here? This reaction force is given by F applied by 1 on 2, F12. Okay. Now to show, see, to solve the problems, you should know what kind of reactions or forces and moments are transmitted through each pair, lower pairs. But for our analysis, we have taken the planar mechanism, especially on 4-bar mechanism, where all the joints are mostly revolute joint. Okay. So if I take a revolute joint, I have said that you can transmit only forces through the revolute joint. So forces can be transmitted at any angle, but if I apply the force, the torque cannot be transmitted here. Only forces can be transmitted through this. But if you consider that is a simple planar thing, you can understand. Suppose it is a linkage like this, it is a three-dimensional object. Okay. Then you have to consider three axes, and if one axis is perpendicular to this pin, you can say a torque applied. If a torque vector is along this axis, that means it is a torque in this plane, it cannot be transmitted. Only force can be transmitted, torque cannot be transmitted. But what about the torque applied through the other axis, like this? If I apply the torque like this, what will happen? You see that torque can be transmitted in the perpendicular axis. What about the torque applied in the other axis? It can transmit. So revolute joint cannot transmit torque in the axis, along the axis only. The torque vector is along the axis of the revolute joint, that cannot be transmitted. But other torque, that is torque in the other two perpendicular relation like this or like this, can be transmitted. So I have sent an email where you can find one page from book Shigley, where he has clearly indicated for all 6 types of lower pairs how the reactions will be, what are the components can be transmitted and what cannot be transmitted. Okay, have a closer look at it. But what I have shown here is about the revolute joint. If you take a revolute joint as a three-dimensional joint here like this, a physical form, the torque along this axis cannot be transmitted, whereas the torque along the other two perpendicular axes, say like this or like this, can be still transmitted. But for us, as per the planar mechanism is concerned, whatever the torque acting on this plane cannot be transmitted. So if you are working only on planar mechanisms, you can safely say that through the revolute joint only forces can be transmitted, not the torque. Okay, so I'll just pass on this to you, so you can just see, confirm yourself what kind of the forces and torque can be transmitted. Now coming to this problem, there is a force here F32 that is acting, and there is another force F12 acting on this hinge. But how these two can be in equilibrium? If there are only two forces, according to the law of equilibrium, they are to be collinear. But in this case, they cannot be collinear. The physical arrangement is, configuration is that it cannot be collinear. So how to bring equilibrium for this particular thing? So this can be brought into equilibrium only if there is a force and a torque exists. Okay? So you can recall from your basics of engineering mechanics, if there is a force F acting at point A and there is a point B, if you shift this force here, what will happen? There will be a force and a torque will come. How? I cannot say that force and torque will come. So let us see what will be the effect when I shift the force from point A to point B. Now I will introduce a system of forces. At point B, I introduce system of forces, that is F and F. These two forces are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction and collinear in action. Therefore, these two forces are in equilibrium. In isolation, these two forces are in equilibrium. Now I bring in a law called law of superposition, which says that the action of an existing force system will not change if you add or remove another system of forces which are in equilibrium. So according to the law of superposition, it says that by adding these two forces, it is not going to change the effect on it in any way. So using that particular rule, I have added these two forces which are in equilibrium. That is, law of superposition enables me to do this. Now you look at what has happened. You have a force here. Now you consider these two forces. So these two forces are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction but not collinear, but they are by an offset, by a distance. This, say, distance is A, so that introduces a couple. So I can remove these two and say that a couple has been introduced or a torque has been introduced. So a force is acting on a point A. If I shift that force to another point B, then what will result is there will be a result, it will result in a force and a couple. Okay, so that is what will happen. So here, how this concept is going to be applied? what I have to do is there is a linkage 2 on which an external force of F32 is acting. So if I want to bring this particular linkage to equilibrium, I have to apply a force F32 dash, which is called equilibrant force. A equilibrant force is a force which is applied to bring the system into equilibrium. So this is the one equilibrant force I have to apply to cancel out. But I don't have a physical way to apply this here, because the reactions I can apply away from here, not exactly here, because I have a physical constraint here, that is wherein I can apply any reaction. It is not here, it is away. So this is the equilibrant force. If I shift this equilibrant force here, what will happen? You will end up in force and so a torque. So if I say using law of superposition, I introduce something like this, okay, then these two will constitute a torque. Okay, so there will be a force here that we call it as say F12, that will be equal to F32 in magnitude, but it will be opposite in direction. But in addition to that, I have to apply a torque. Okay, so what is the meaning of this is, like, if I have a force F32 acting here, if I want to balance that, if I want to bring the system to equilibrium by applying a force somewhere else, then what would be required is not simple force, you have to apply a force as well as a torque. Both should be applied. Then only you will have this effect. Okay? So that is what we are looking at. What will be the reaction here in the bearing support, that is O2. That hinge support can impart only the force. That force will be in this direction. That will be opposite to this F32 but equal in magnitude. But that alone is not sufficient. You have to apply a torque as well. That torque is the holding torque. So what will be the magnitude of the holding torque? That will be equal to F32 into this length of the linkage that we used to call it as A. So that will be the force. But it not necessarily the length of the linkage A, because that you can take it as the length of the linkage A only if this is perpendicular. Because the arm of the couple is decided by the shortest distance between the two forces. Suppose this F32 is slightly inclined like this, then what will happen is your reaction will be like this, parallel to it. So this will be your F1, 2. This 2 should be parallel and equal in magnitude, and there will be a torque that you have to apply. So this you have to take this shortest distance. That will be the magnitude of the torque. So that torque is what we call it as the holding torque. Okay, you have any doubt? So look at it. What we wanted is, for a slider crank mechanism like this, an external force is applied on the slider. Then you are asked to find out the reactions in each linkages. Then what is the torque, holding torque that is required. So you can see this here. So but what happens is, here these two are the torque which is applying. The holding torque direction must be like this. Okay. So that is what the torque magnitude should be. Okay. Magnitude is F32 into this distance, and you have the direction is like this, so that the system can be in equilibrium. You have any doubt? So you can see that to solve this problem, you have to draw the free body diagram and evoke all the engineering basic mechanic principles. Now we will move on to the next problem, that is we will take a 4-bar mechanism. We will take a 4-bar mechanism. So you can, this is O2, this is O4, this is point A and this is point B. Then this is linkage 2, this is 3 and this is 4. Here an external force of P is applied. If suppose I don't apply any force and ignore the weight of the linkages, no problem, it will be in equilibrium. If we ignore the weight of the linkages, that's what we do. We have not taken the weight of the linkages here. If you say they ignore the weight of the linkages, when no force is applied, this will be in equilibrium. You keep it in any position, it will be in equilibrium. How can I ignore the forces of the weight? If I put this planar 4-bar mechanism in a horizontal position, automatically weight will not act. So I keep it in any position, it will stay. It will stay put. Now that is not the case. There is a force P is applied here. Now the question is, find out the reactions in each linkages or forces in each linkages, then find out the torque that is required, the torque, external torque T, that is holding torque required to keep it in static equilibrium. Okay. So this is similar to the problem that we have just discussed. So what is the first step? What is the first step? Draw the free body diagram. So each linkage is free body diagram you have to draw. So linkage 4, if I start with, this is like this. So I have the external force P is acting. And we have a reaction or force from here to O4. So that its magnitude and direction is not known right now. I can say that force is given by force applied by 1 on 4, F14. Here in this you have again, there is a hinge joint where only force can be transmitted, but this direction is not known right now for me. So this will be force applied by 3 on 4. This is the free body diagram of your linkage 4. Now coming to the free body diagram of linkage 3, that is your coupler. Then you can see that in both ends there is only revolute joints. So these revolute joint can transmit only forces through it. So there can be only 2 forces acting on this. The forces are given by notation, force applied by 4 on 3. Then here you have a force applied by 2 on 3. Of course this is a 2 force member, as you know. So therefore according to the law of equilibrium, these 2 forces should be collinear. They have to be equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So it is like this. Whether it will be a compressive or tensile, I do not know right now. Because whether it is compressive or tensile, it will still be in equilibrium. So I know the direction now, direction of F43 now. So hence I know the direction of F34 also. because they are just the action and reaction. So no longer it is a wavy sign, because at least the direction I know. So the direction of this is going to be like this, okay, parallel to this, but the magnitude of this is not known. So here, how to solve this particular thing? So there are three forces. I'm sorry, here we have three forces. Yeah, P, F34 and F14 are the three forces. But how many unknowns are there? So the direction of this is known, but magnitude is not known. There is one unknown. Here for F14, we don't know both the magnitude and direction. Both are not known. But whether you can solve it, you can solve this not by theorem of three forces, because for that you should know the direction of both, or you should know at least the direction. Only two unknowns can be solved with the theorem of three forces. So here we have more than three. So what you can do is, to solve for the magnitude of F34, I can take the moment about this point O4. If I take the moment about this, then you know this moment P into this distance, that is the moment of P, and this distance into F34, that will give you the, what is the magnitude of this. Okay, taking moment about O4. So if you say this distance, okay, this you have to extend and see the shortest distance between this. Okay, suppose I take, that is the arm. So this, suppose I take this as L1, and this if you extend and take the perpendicular line and where it cuts, so that distance is say L2. We can say that P into L2 is equal to F34 into L1. So you can, by graphical, if you are proceeding, you can measure this L1 and L2, then that is known and this is known, and P is already known, so you can find out what is the magnitude of F34. So direction, you know, this is going to be producing a anti-clockwise, so this will be producing a clockwise, so this must be my direction of this. Okay, so by this I know the direction and the magnitude of this F34. You have any doubt? So take moment about this. The shortest distance can be measured graphically when you are doing using the mini drafter. Then you can always, you know, use this for finding the magnitude of this and this direction. This is producing a anti-clockwise. This must be producing a clockwise. So this is the direction of F34. Okay, so this and the F43 must be opposite, so I can say this will be like this, and therefore this is also like this. So it is a member under compressive forces. Okay, that is what is the free body diagram of linkage 3. Now still when you come here, F14 is not known. Isn't it? We have not completed this because we have seen only F34. F14 is still not known. So now you can see the number of unknowns are only 2. Okay, the magnitude and direction of F14 is the only unknown. So you can now use the theorem of three forces to find out this. So I can draw the free vector of the P. Then I can draw this the free from here, the free vector of F34. Then you join this and it must form a closed polygon. Therefore this must be my direction. This is F14. So now I have found out this F14 using the theorem of three forces. I can apply this here. That is my direction. So I have found out all the relevant the information about the forces acting on the linkage 4 as well as 3. You have any doubt? So initially I take the moment about O4 to get this, then I can use the theorem of 3 forces to get the magnitude and direction of F14. Now we have to move on to the linkage 2, free body diagram of linkage 2. So that is like this. So you have F23, sorry, it is 3-2 applied by 3 on 2. So the direction will be opposite to this. This is known. Now what will be the reaction here? That will be just opposite to this. So this will be this is F12, which will be equal in magnitude of F32 but opposite direction, but is applied elsewhere. So these two will be producing a couple. If I take this distance as say L3, this will be producing a couple that is in the anti-clockwise direction. So you have to apply a opposite couple to balance it, or the torque to balance it. That is by magnitude is F32 into distance L3, but the direction will be the clockwise direction. So that will be your holding torque. So this is producing anti-clockwise, that whatever you apply must be like this. So that is how I solve the forces acting on each linkages and the necessary holding torque. So any doubt? Which one? This linkage? Okay. I know the magnitude of P? Okay. No, I don't know the magnitude of this, no? But here I don't know the magnitude and direction of this thing. Okay, I draw P. This direction alone is known, but where to stop this? Arrowhead is not known. I don't know where to stop it. Yep, I have drawn P. F34 only direction is known. I can extend like this, but where it will end? Yeah, correct. No, I can close like this, or like this, or like this. Now, how can you close it?
No, I have a small doubt.
Okay.
This is a link, right? So this is F34. So this is F34. I know the P also.
Okay. But I don't know this this magnitude.
Yeah, you don't know. What do you do? Just extend this line.
Okay. So that is the point where it meets.
Concurrency. So from here if I draw it,
Okay.
this will be your direction.
Direction, but what is the magnitude?
Yeah, I can find out from here now.
Okay, again you can take it there.
Yeah.
Okay, that is also possible.
Yeah.
Without moments.
Without moments, because we are taking moment. I have a doubt. That's why I'm asking. Can we take like this?
Yeah, it is possible. Yes, you can do it. See, suppose you don't want to take the moments, what is you can do is the theorem of 3 forces, which says that the point of, they all must meet at the same point. So you extend it, let it intersect, then you know the direction of it, then you go and complete this diagram, because the two directions are known. So that is yeah, this is also possible. Definitely it is possible. Okay, any other doubt? Now we will have a little more variation to this problem. That is because the same one method, we can keep on doing. It may not be practically always applicable. So as a teacher, we can take a simple problem, solve it and go. But in reality, it may be complicated. So let us introduce some more complication here by introducing another force which is acting on linkage 3. Just now we have solved the problem with applying one force, that is P on linkage 4. But if there is an additional force, one more force is acting on linkage 3, then how to solve? There the problem is like, let us start with this thing. So here we have this P is acting. Now what is the magnitude direction of this is not known, this is also not known. Earlier we got F34 from the information of this linkage 3. But linkage 3 is no longer a 2-force member. It is a 3-force member where you have some Q which is acting. Therefore, we cannot say that these two forces will be in a particular direction. So here also they may be in any direction. So F43 and F23, the direction and magnitudes are still not known. So you cannot proceed in the same way as we did for the last problem or earlier variation where their Q was not there. So here you cannot solve. So obviously with this is not solved, you cannot solve for linkage 2 also. So how to solve this particular thing? Okay. So there something is done is to split the F34 into horizontal and vertical components, or a normal, not a horizontal and vertical component, but it's a normal and tangential component. So this direction is not known, magnitude of this is also not known, but any force can be split into two components, perpendicular components. So what I do is, I split this into two components, one is tangential to this link, another is normal to this link. So I will call this two components as say F34 normal and this is F34 tangential. If I split, any force can be split into like that, I will split it, but their magnitudes are still not known. When you split like this, whether this can be solved, then there is some possibility, as you see, that if I take a moment about O4, the effect of 1,4 is eliminated because it is passing through that, therefore its momentum is 0. Then this P will have a moment, but this normal component of this will be passing again, intersecting O4, its arm will be 0, so this also will not play any role. So only I have two forces which are going to produce a moment. So if this system is to be in equilibrium, these two forces should produce equal and opposite moment. So using this particular, by taking the moment about the O4, this is eliminated and this is also, the role of these two forces are eliminated because they are passing through the moment center, so their effect will be 0. So only we will have this moment. Now I can say, for example, if I take the moment of arm of P as L1, moment arm of this is going to be the length of the linkage because it's going to be perpendicular to it. So the length of the linkage is C. So we can write the moment equation as F34 tangential into C, that must be equal to P into L1. So here the value of F34 tangential component can be found out. Instead of knowing nothing, we have something we have found out, that is F34 tangential component. Okay, so from a totally unsolvable situation, we have solved partially by splitting this into two components and taking moment about O4. You have any doubt? Now, having this information, you can come back here to linkage 2, linkage 3 and see whether it is of any use. Yes, what you can do is, let us see, we transfer this here, the tangential and normal component. So we just transfer this F34 tangential, F43 tangential and F43 normal. If I just take this here and put it here, and they are going to be in the opposite direction. So here you know what is the direction and magnitude of F34. So since it is producing a anti-clockwise rotation, torque or moment, this must be like this, isn't it? So we know this. So magnitude and direction of tangential component is known. Only normal component is not known. Now what we do is, we take a moment about this point, that is A, about this as a center I take a moment. Then you see that Q is the one which is going to produce a moment. The F43 normal, this is not known, but it will produce a moment. This also will produce a moment. But this is known. Moment of Q is known, moment of F43 tangential is known, but F43 normal is not known. So you can find out what is the magnitude of this. Yeah. One word. Just I'll finish one word and then you can ask. Now, very, very important caution. Very important thing, what students used to do a mistake in one aspect, that is, when they say that transferring this normal and tangential component of this, you have to faithfully transfer this directions of the normal and tangential component and put it, but it is not normal and tangential to this linkage. When they say normal and tangential, when they transfer it, what they do is they draw this normal and tangential to this linkage. It is not. That mistake people do. Okay, we observe that people do it because when they are driven by normal and tangential component, they used to draw the normal, this particular component, normal and tangential to linkage 3. It is not for that, because it is actually the normal and tangential to linkage 4. Conserve this direction exactly and put it. It should not be turned so that it is normal and tangential to this. That particular word of caution you have to take, because that is a common mistake people do. Okay, what is your doubt? Yes, so I have drawn it wrongly. Yes, you have pointed out. That's right. Any other thing? Now you take the moment about, because you are doing it graphically, you can take the moment about this. You can extend this line, find out this distance. You can extend this also, like this, and see what is this distance. So you can find out their moment arms of Q and F43 tangential, and you can write an equation for that and get what is F43. Okay, so that particular thing is now known. So after knowing F43 normal and its direction, suppose I say this direction, because this is going to produce a clockwise moment, this is going to produce a a clockwise moment, this must be producing an anti-clockwise moment like this. So this magnitude and direction is now known. I can bring it here. Now both components are known. And now what is unknown is only the magnitude direction of F14. So you can draw the graphically P, these two components, and the closing side of this will be this F14. If I do that, now what will I do is, there is a P like this, vector P, then you have the tangential component F34 normal component, and you have F34 tangential component is there. Now this closing side of this will be my F14. So if I draw this polygon to the scale, after completing it you can take this magnitude and multiply with the scale, you can get what is this F14. So this also will be now complete. So now about this linkage 4, all the forces are now known to me. Okay. Now coming here, these two are known, Q is known, only magnitude and direction of this is not known. Again you can draw the vector polygon using all these three forces, all the forces. Closing side of the polygon will be my F23. Okay, similarly I draw the closing side of this polygon, I will get F23, and if I try to do that here, then you see this, I can start from here. I have F43 tangential, then F43 normal, then you have Q from here, then the closing side of this is from here to here like this. So this will be my F23. So that is how you can proceed and draw this polygon, vector polygon, to find out what is F23. Now coming back here for the linkage 2, then you will have this F32, which will be just opposite of that. Okay, so I think the magnitude is like this. F34. This one? I do it. Oh, okay, F34 direction. This here 4-3 direction, which is going to be just opposite of this, right? Okay. See, how do I get this? Let me take the moment of this. This will be producing a clockwise moment. This will be producing a clockwise moment. So this must be producing an anti-clockwise moment. That is how I got it. So here it should be reverse of that. So here I think I have to reverse accordingly to get the polygon properly. Okay. Huh? I didn't get it here. Oh no, both has to reverse. Every component, let me put it like this. When you split a force into two, they become two separate forces. So if you find out their reaction, they have to be definitely opposite in direction, but equal in magnitude. So that way I have to reverse it also. Here I have to reverse this, so this things will be different. Now coming to this particular thing, of course this is quite now familiar to you. Now this force has to be like this. So this is producing a anti-clockwise this thing, so it should be the torque like this. So its magnitude should be F32 into this particular distance. Okay, suppose this is L4. So you can solve if you have any problem also. If you apply one more force here, no problem. You can solve by this particular method where you split this into a normal and tangential component taking moment, you can get the output. Okay, so this is a procedure, if you go through. I told you to take the printout of those things and bring it to the class, so that it will be very easy for you, because you can underline there, and when you read for the examination it will be easy for you. You need not take it down, all these things. Okay, please take the printout of the relevant pages from the Martin book as well as from Shigley, because I can discuss that. The moments of the lower pairs is given in Shigley, so that also you can do that. Any questions?